control, feeling my bones. I'm coming for the I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Here comes the rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Here comes the rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storms coming, so you better start running. We can't control, feeling my bones. I'm going for it, going for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Passing the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
A red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, Edgy's reign will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, Edgy's reign will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, Edgy's reign will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. Green candle up and red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's gains are dead and gone. GameStop's rising, going strong. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, Edgy's reign will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, Edgy's reign will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, Edgy's reign will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edgy's gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share.
Are we muted? We were muted. All right, sorry about that. I was saying the big event of the day was initially the GameStop warrant distribution. And I know not everybody has received them yet. I was rereading the GameStop FAQ, and thank you for those of you who were posting it. It does say on their FAQ that they expect the warrants to begin trading the day after distribution. So maybe, maybe we just were a little impatient. Maybe we didn't read closely enough. And so, yeah, we'll wait and see tomorrow what happens. Still nothing on the warrants. And the stock had a little down tick today, closing at 24.35. trading in after hours overnight now, about the same price, 24.34. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm not thrilled that we closed below this supply zone here, but it is what it is, you know. Not surprising to me. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow with GameStop. And the other news that I was not expecting today, this soon, before October 11th, I thought was the earliest that I calculated that they would be able to do this. Maybe I miscalculated. We got the AMC Proxy. And I'm going to take my time kind of thinking about what this all means, but I wanted to just have a quick session, here live. And if you're watching this on replay, drop your comments, your questions, your gripes, your venting, whatever it is. And, I'll put a video together with some more coherent thoughts in the next day or so. But initial reactions, I was curious what the reaction would be in after hours, and it was basically a yawner in after hours today. Not a whole lot of price movement, but I think everybody that was paying attention knew that this was coming, right? That there was going to be a vote for more authorized shares proposed. We didn't know in what fashion. And now we know. Now we know. And so now the analyzing begins. This is the pre-14A. There'll be a def 14A, a definitive one, at some point between now and December. But this is what we got for the meeting to be held on December 10th. I couldn't remember earlier today if it was the 9th or 10th. But it is going to be on December 10th, and that is on a Wednesday. And a lot of the items on here are repeats from last year's, most of which people voted no for. You're going to have a chance to vote for them again. The ability to declassify the board. A lot of people say, we want to vote Adam Aaron out. You don't get a vote on the CEO. You don't. The board votes in the CEO. But you can replace the board. But, typically only a couple of them come up, 2 or 3 per year. And so if you wanted to replace the board, the only way to do it is to declassify the board. Now, I know last year there was vote no for everything. Don't ever give AMC what they want. You could vote no again on declassifying the board, and you'll be continually limited to only 3 board members per year coming up for re-election. If you want to have a chance to vote on all of them, vote all the bums out, you say, then maybe think about, what do you want to do with proposal number 1? If you vote no, you're going to be stuck with just voting on 3 people for the board. And yes, Adam Aaron is on the board, but that does not have anything to do with him being voted as CEO, just so we're clear. And shareholders cannot vote him out. Only the board can. This stockholders acting by written consent, the limitation on stockholders to call special meetings. Those were on last year's, and you'll probably keep on seeing them until they pass every year. Not uncommon in Delaware companies for them to be putting these on the ballot right now. But the one that we're really talking about tonight is this, number 5. It is not a reverse split, and it's not a forward split. It is just a proposal to increase the authorized shares from the current 550 million. They're going to double it to 1.1 billion. And there are a couple things to note about that. voting requirement. For proposal number 5, it requires approval by a majority of the votes cast. I was thinking that to increase the authorized shares, it was a majority of all shareholders, but if I thought that, I was incorrect. It is just a majority of whoever shows up to vote. That's a pretty easy hurdle to get a yes on. That's a pretty easy hurdle to get a yes on. So we'll see in December what happens. But it's not as difficult as I thought it would be if they needed, for example, half of all existing shareholders. That's a whole higher bar. We got the easy bar here. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of debate on how you vote over the next couple months. I'll let y'all talk about that amongst yourselves. Let's see what the nitty gritty is on this. Most of the early social media commentary I saw today, I don't think anybody was surprised by this. If you were surprised by it, that is unfortunate. You're not listening to the right people. The company is running low on cash again, and there was part of the debt restructuring deal in July. They said they were going to have a vote for more shares because they didn't even have enough to cover all the exchangeable notes as part of that July deal. So we knew this was coming. Does a vote mean automatically that they're going to immediately dilute 550 million shares? I think that would be a no. I'm just getting a couple of basic thoughts out, and then I'm going to look at all your questions. Does it mean that there will be some dilution? Yeah, almost certainly. What would we hope? We would hope that they fix what they need to fix with the exchangeable notes, whatever they need. There's some amount of shares that they need to finish taking care of the exchangeable notes. And then what would you use any remaining shares for? Liquidity needs if you had a shortfall in a quarter, or fixing the balance sheet. That's really what they would use them for. Shin Kyoku, how you doing? Frankie, what's up? And I guess if you want to be optimistic, you hope that every quarter from here on out, the company makes a profit, box office is big enough, and they do not have to dilute for liquidity. Then if that's the case, if that were the case, then you still got to think about if there's any run up in the price, they would likely sell some shares or do a private placement to pay off some of the debt, because they, as they said, even in October 1st, in that press release October 1st, he said they will relentlessly continue to repair the balance sheet. So they're not making any secret of what is coming. It's all really just down to us guessing the timing now. To Be Tubby says, even if shareholders authorize the shares, AMC does not need to sell more right away. Yeah, that is correct. They don't need to, and I have no idea how fast they will. But we do know that almost immediately they will allocate whatever shares they needed. Well, I need to go back and look at the math. How many shares do they need to finish taking care of all of the exchangeable notes? There is some amount of shares that they still need, because they ran out. And, it's not going to be that many. I don't know what it is. Let's say it's 20, 30, 50 million. Then they still have quite a bit in reserve just in case shit. They should not go willy-nilly and just start diluting the heck out of everybody unless a quarter is going to have a shortfall. if you have a weak Q1, for example. I don't know what Q1 is going to look like. But if you were going to burn 200 million or 100 million, you might need to sell a few shares. So that's really what we need to be thinking about very carefully. How are the next Q4 is going to be fine, we think. How about the next 4 after that? Are they going to be zigzag? Oh, we need money this quarter, but we'll be fine the next quarter. We need money. These are the things that everybody needs to start thinking about and talking about if you're worried about dilution. Relaxing by Meditation says voting starts in December. There will be a vote on December 10th. Yes. Kyle, how you do? How you doing, Kyle? Welcome, welcome. Long-time listener, he says. First-time shout-out. Thank you, thank you. Sparky, what's up? He says there's somewhere 77 million to 107 million shares outstanding. Yeah, and then we got to figure if they readjusted the exchange rate with that announcement on October 1st. How does that factor in, if at all? Richie Rich says some could go to the Go plan. Maybe, Richie. I have talked to you guys briefly. I was just thinking about the Go plan the other day as I was watching that movie Anemone with Daniel Day-Lewis, and it was in a laser theater, and I was like, we haven't really talked about the Go plan, and we also haven't seen billions of dollars showing up being spent on the Go plan. Remember, that's what we were all worried about. Just to recap, as I researched the Go plan, what I kind of learned is that most of that equipment, the laser projectors, the Dolby, the Coke machines, that's all just basically long-term lease agreements. It's not like they need a bunch of money up front. It just goes into the operating expenses. So I'm not as worried about the Go plan or some massive need for cash related to that, because most of these vendors offer some sort of leasing arrangement on all that equipment. Yes, over 5 or 10 years, it's a massive amount, but it's spread out, and it is, you know, when you pay extra for Dolby or you pay extra for IMAX, it's because you're partially paying them back for that equipment lease. Owning the Float says, when can I be a guest host? We'll have you on if you'd like to on another night, OTF. Not tonight, because this is not going to be a long live stream. I've already got food waiting that just got delivered. I wanted to see in the comments what questions you guys had, so I could start formulating my video tomorrow. Most of them, like I said, most of the questions I have seen so far, is it going to be immediate 550 million dilution? No, that would be kind of dumb. Could it be 550 million over the next year or 2 years? Maybe, could be. Depends on how aggressively they tackle the debt, what the price looks like out in the market. When does it make sense to dilute? What are the next maturity dates on the debt? I think, Sparky, they have a little bit of time, right? There's not like some mad rush where they got to go pay off debt maturities. So I think if there's not liquidity needs, they don't need to rush it, other than just fixing the new exchangeable notes. No reverse split, Diana. That is correct. It's not a reverse split. It is not a forward split either. It's just an increase in share count. Tubby Tubby says, is the anticipated dilution of shares priced into the stock already? I think that the vote, what we saw today, there was no big reaction in after hours. So maybe it's priced in. We'll know for sure when regular trading starts tomorrow. And remember, just because it's on a proxy doesn't mean that it will get approved. And if it does get approved, even if it is approved, it doesn't mean that there's immediate dilution. So, I mean, these are all difficult questions to give you some definitive. Is it already priced in? My gut feeling is, if there is some big dilution announced, you'll see the price go down. But is today's news priced in? Yeah, I think, as we've been talking about for many months, the reason the stock has been held down to $3 or less is because everybody knew this was coming. So, yeah, they've been holding it right here because they knew this was coming. This was priced in. This was priced into what you guys were calling manipulation. It's just the market saying, hey, we know there's a big vote coming up. Six Sun says, how low do you see AMC going to? I don't know. Like I don't want to be too pessimistic, Six Sun. I'm going to remain optimistic till I see the price action. And I'm going to tell myself it is doubling the authorized shares, but it is not automatic massive dilution. And AMC only has to fix immediately in December the exchangeable notes. They owe some shares to those people. After that, my belief is they have some time on debt. And then you got to ask yourself, and I will ask myself this hard question: what does the liquidity look like? Are they going to make cash in a quarter, Q4, Q1, Q2? Are they going to make cash or burn cash? That is the other reason they might sell shares, and that is the one we don't want them to be doing. We need box office to grow. We can talk about GameStop, Kyle. What question do you have? I'm expecting now the warrants to start trading tomorrow, but we'll see. Frank says, will it increase the float and affect earnings per share? If they announce, if they allocate shares towards the exchangeable notes, Frankie, it will not immediately affect the float. Only if at some point those shares were exchanged, those bonds were exchanged for shares. All Smiles says it could go well under $2. It could. I mean, if the market is very pessimistic and thinks they're going to massively dilute out of the gate, but I'm not making any predictions. After watching a few dilution events on AMC, you guys know my MO now is just get the F out of the way, which is what I did 11 months ago. So now I wait patiently and see what happens. Kenneth says, is Adam Aaron's term expiring in 2026? That's a good question. I'll look through the proxy and see. I don't recall how often the board has to vote for him, but somewhere in the documents that is in there. I see he is up for a vote on the proxy for his board seat. Let's see if they talk about the exchangeable notes here. We got some further details. If Proposal 5, here you go, Sparky. If Proposal 5 is approved, depending on the stock price for the exchange, we would expect to reserve between 67 and 122 million. That's of the new shares that we're going to be voting on. Man, I sure hope it's 67 and not 122. I'll go in and take my time and make sure I really do my best to understand what we're looking at here in the morning. If the vote is not approved, the company is going to have to pay what I call a $15 million penalty. And the interest rate will go up also. In the event that the vote is not approved, the interest rate is going to go up. That's not helpful. In addition, the rate on the 2029 notes is set based on the company's total leverage ratio. And if they're saying basically here, if they don't have the ability to reduce the debt on the balance sheet, it could directly affect the amount of interest they have to pay on the notes. Good or bad, right? Reduce your debt, improve your leverage ratio, get a lower interest rate. No shares available, can't improve the debt, could have a worse interest rate on the $2 billion term loan. And you'll probably want to read this. Here's it. Failure to approve will result in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things they want you to know about. I think we just covered them. Here, this paragraph, it looks like I'm just speed reading. They're basically saying we'd like to have some shares as emergency liquidity if we need it. Provides us with flexibility for running the business. Yeah, so what I'm reading is that if the 550 million new are approved, between 67 and 122 will be reserved for the new notes from July, and another 7.8 million for the EIP. AMC may not engage in an ATM for 6 months following this vote, other than the lesser of 25 million shares or 50 million in net proceeds. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. Hey Clark, what's up? He says, haven't talked to you in a long time. Still holding all of our shares. Shout out to you and Julie. Glad to hear y'all are doing okay, Clark. Do you think they'll do another reverse split? There's no proposal for a reverse split right now, Clark. Just to increase the share count. Oh yeah, Sparky, thank you. Guys, if you're not aware, maybe I'll put this in my video tomorrow or the next day whenever I get it out. There was a credit upgrade on Movieco's, AMC's Movieco bond today. Not all of the bonds, but the senior Movieco bonds got a credit upgrade. So there's that. Owning the float says, could GME buy AMC and pay off all their debt? Yeah. Are you kidding? You're trying to get us spun up, OTF. Diego says, have they cornered investors to saying yes? I would say, I would flip it around, Diego. The bondholders, when they negotiated the July deal with AMC, made sure that no matter what happens, they are going to have their risk managed. They probably want the vote to go through, but if the vote doesn't go through, they're going to make AMC pay for it so that their risk is taken care of. It's riskier for the bondholders if AMC does not have the ability to raise cash. So the interest rate will go up. And AMC will have to make a payment to them as well. So that is bondholder risk mitigation. Could you flip it around and say they've cornered investors? I mean, you still have the right to do whatever, but the bondholders are going to be taken care of. And they put up that money, and they get to kind of write the rules in the debt renegotiation. It's a give and take between the company and the debt holders to avoid that court fight, remember? Is there a proxy to dismiss AA's pay package? That is a good question. Is there a proposal? Yep, number 7, a vote non-binding to approve the compensation package. There is. Sparky, do you want to share a couple of words of wisdom? Clark says he's worried AMC is going to go bankrupt. I think we're kind of viewing it, Clark, as Sparky used the words earlier. It's kind of like a delicate dance here. There's a lot of things that still have to go right. AMC needs better box office. They need to have quarters where they're not burning cash. And we'll see if they're patient. If those things happen and they're patient and don't need to dilute for liquidity, then maybe they can be patient enough for the price to run up and then intelligently take out some debt as the price runs up. They got to keep whittling away at that debt. The balance sheet is still upside down. So if you're speculating in AMC, this is what we've been saying. You got to realize that that balance sheet is still an issue, and they will keep on attacking it as long as it is upside down. And that's just part of being in this trade. If you're gonna speculate in this trade, you're either gonna suffer dilution or you get smart about swing trading it, and then hope you have better timing than hope that you have enough ESP to be ahead of AMC when they announce dilution. Sparky says they're not really facing immediate bankruptcy issues, but they have a lot of work to do. Yeah. And really, yes, what we need to see is what is the cash position at the end of Q3. That'll give us an idea. What is the cash burn from Q3? Was it 100 million, 200 million, 50 million? And how good is Q4 going to be? And then every quarter after that, the next 4 quarters, what do we think the cash burn is going to be? I will do my best to give it a honest assessment. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that will only focus on the absolute best outcomes. I like to, when I do a risk assessment, here's my optimal outcome, here's my worst case, how effed could we be, and how good could it be, and then what are the probabilities of these various outcomes, and then we can start thinking about risk management. Do I want to trade this? Do I want to swing it? How much do I want to allocate if I'm gambling on this? Clark says, how much runway cash do they have before they're actually bankrupt? I spent some time looking tonight, Clark. There were, in the previous debt covenants, there were actual words that talked about a minimum liquidity requirement. And I think it was 200 million. And I was kind of searching through the July debt documents for anything about that, and I didn't see it. So I don't know if I have an answer, but there is a certain point where your cash gets low enough, and it's not zero. There's a certain point where if the cash gets low enough, the bondholders are going to say, dunzo. Before July, it was, I'm pretty sure, 200 million or 150 million. I'll see if I can find that again. Six Sun says, if you were the one running this company, what would you do different? I would be more maniacal about cutting costs, and I would be more maniacal on communicating what I'm doing to cut cost. I would be more clear on that to shareholders. All we see from AMC is, oh, we're expanding this, we're adding this. I get it. I mean, there's a lot of pressure to not fall behind the competition, but I want to see hair on fire cost cutting. And I want to see that communicated to shareholders. Like, give me a quarterly update. What are you doing that we don't hear enough talk about that, in my opinion. You guys know, maybe if you listen to me for a while, I worked at a Fortune 100 company for 15 years in management, most of that, and we went through several economic cycles, and I know exactly what needs to be done and how much it hurts when you have to go to that hair on fire cost cutting. You lay off people, you lay off layers of management, you cut travel. All the perks in the office get, what is AMC doing? I don't know what they're doing because they don't tell us. What do we hear? We're spending another 100 million on Coke machines and lasers. Okay, that's fine if you have to do that, but why don't you tell us how that's not really a cash outlay, though? That's just going to slightly increase our quarterly expenses. Yeah, I think they're just not handling this communication on cost cutting and operating expenses as clearly as they could to make people feel comfortable. Maybe they've already cut everything to the bone that they can. I don't know, but does it feel like it? The one thing that we can see, and Sparky's talking about this, we can see CapEx. We can see what their CapEx spend looks like. They have been fairly conservative on CapEx, and I will give them that. What do I mean by that? If I look at CapEx, what they're spending annually, they're like twice the size of Cinemark, and I think Cinemark's CapEx is going to be bigger than AMC's. Let's just look. See if I remember that correctly. $155. I was looking at what they were forecasting. And it looked like over the next year, Cinemark was forecasting that their CapEx was going to be higher than AMC's. Quarterly. So we're spending about 47 million per quarter, and Cinemark spending 30 and 22. Yeah. They're not outspending us yet. That's your maintenance in your expanding facilities. Clark says, how long does it take AMC to burn 200 million? It could take one bad quarter, Clark. One really bad quarter. Hopefully, you know, the way box office is going, I'm hoping that we have the quarters of 200 million cash burn well behind us. The last really bad one that was like that was Q1 2024. Oh, look at this. Q1 2025 operating cash flow negative 370. Is that right? Holy smokes, man. How did we survive that? 169 million issuance of common stock. Remember that back in the beginning of this year? Net cash flow 253 negative. Here's another one, 240. Here's another one, 250. Clark, it could be one quarter. They could burn 200 million. Like that, if box office is not there. You guys got to go see movies. I do the best I can, but I can't do that by myself. Yeah, Sixth Son, I would agree with you. Like, at a very minimum, even if it's a token, cut the damn pay. Cut the bonuses. I don't want to see any bonuses being paid out if the company's losing money. Jersey Man says any recession without good movies will hurt the company. Yeah. But we think next year is going to be good. But I have not done a quarter by quarter breakdown. It's fine to say 2026 is going to be good, but if we were just looking at that quarterly variance on net cash, if you have a bad quarter, doesn't matter if the entire year is good. If you're already low on cash, like if AMC's sitting at 400 million and they're going to burn 200 because Q1 sucks, for example, I don't know, then they're going to want to sell some shares for cash. We need every quarter to be minimal cash burn. We don't want to see this huge negatives every other quarter. That'll eat you alive when you only got 400 million cash. All right. If you have further questions and you want me to think about them over the next couple days, or I try and talk to people that are way smarter than me about what is coming, and I like to have your guys' questions, and I like to reread the documents slowly and think about them for a day or two, and then think about the next 5 quarters. What is the cash burn going to look like? We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of questions about how fast are they going to use these shares. They're all legitimate questions. If you're worried about it, that's a legitimate concern because we don't have all the answers right now. Is it a concern that is going to come to fruition? I don't know yet. Is it all going to be 550 million dilution on day one? not likely. But we need to understand quarter by quarter the cash needs of the company based on next 5 quarters of box office. And you're not, no matter what you vote, you're not avoiding, there's going to be a bad scenario no matter how you vote. So it is what it is. Clark says, Tony, you should buy XRP. I will continue to look at it, Clark. I got to go eat my dinner. If you have questions, let me know in the comments after this video. I might just leave this up for a few more minutes as we play a song. I do still smoke cigars, OTF. Yeah, I've got a couple in the humidor back there. And I am trying to quit the vape, though. I think I'm on finishing up week 6. And the cigars I only do when I'm hanging out with you guys, but not tonight because I got to eat some dinner. Six Sun says, would you agree that dilution is a little better than reverse split? I think that the psychology of a reverse split is perceived as worse. Whether or not it's worse, I mean, I have conversations about this every day with people in the Discord. We all kind of feel like it's the same thing. Whether you do a 2-for-1 reverse split or just increase the float by 550 million shares, it's essentially the same thing, but the perception in retail traders is that reverse split is worse. So maybe they decided, let's just try this and see how it goes. GameStop warrants, hopefully we'll see them trading tomorrow. It might take your broker still a day or two to get them straight in your account. They're not violating any rules as long as they get it done in a reasonable amount of time. But I understand it is frustrating. And if you have any questions, bug your broker. And I see most of y'all are. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, your questions, your gripes. And we will have some more ongoing discussion on this in the coming days. So if you're watching it on replay, feel free to leave me your comments and questions. Thank you.
A red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, edges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edges gains are dead and gone, fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, edges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edges gains are dead. to this